Welcome to this special edition of Rural America Live. I'm Mark Oppel with our friends from John Deere, coming to you from Commodity Classic. Lots to talk about here. Changes every year on agriculture, as we know, and John Deere is all about upgrading to meet the challenges to America's farmers and ranchers. Tonight we're talking about new upgrades to the 9RX series tractors, the C series air carts, the Hagie STS sprayers, and the S7 series combine. Lots to cover during this hour. We have experts from John Deere on all four of those new upgrades to tell you about, and your local dealer will have information as well. Right now, I want to say good evening and welcome to Jenny Batting, who's from John Deere, joining us. Jenny, it's been a great week together here.
Yeah, Mark, thanks for having us. We're really excited here at the John Deere booth. Like you mentioned, we've got a lot of new products that we're excited to show our customers for the first time here in Houston.
Yeah. Let's talk about the process John Deere goes through for these upgrades to come to fruition.
Absolutely. So, listening to our customers and the needs that they need, the challenges that they face every day is what we go to work every day at John Deere trying to solve their problems, whether, it's bringing more productive machines or efficient machines, labor challenges, the labor shortage. We're trying to bring more automation to that. And so all across our product lines, we're having conversations with our customers to understand those challenges and then bring them to life like we are here in Houston with our new model year lineup.
Yeah, exactly right. You talk about model year, we're talking about model year 25 coming up here.
That is correct. And this is one of our largest product launches that we've had in our history. So really exciting. We're enjoying talking to our customers here and showcasing these great machines.
Yeah, and we need to keep in mind that for every one of these new upgrades that we're going to be visiting about in depth, the producers that are here are seeing them for the very first time.
That's correct. Yeah, this is the first unveiling of these new model year products, our new S7 series combines, our C series air carts, the new high horsepower 9RX tractor, and then bringing our See and Spray premium technology to our Hagie STS sprayers. And then on top of that, we're talking about our precision ag, so our new G5 displays, integrated receivers, JD Link modems, John Deere Operations Center, and then of course our precision upgrades as well. So bringing that latest technology to existing customers' fleets. So maybe they aren't ready to trade or go buy a new piece of equipment, but they want to utilize that cutting edge technology. Sure. We've got upgrade kits to bring that latest tech to existing fleets.
I have to ask here, you've been getting ready for this for some time. I don't know how many months or even years, but Jenny, if you had to say what you're most excited about and the upgrade that intrigues you the most, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. So I think like any parent, it's hard to pick a favorite kid. I love all of these products for various different reasons. You're going to see and talk to a handful of my John Deere teammates, and they're really going to dive in deep of some of those features and functionalities and the things that our customers have really been looking for that we're excited to show them here in Houston.
Absolutely. And in each case, we don't cover it all here tonight. They can go to that dealer because they've been ready for these upgrades as well.
Absolutely. Visiting the local John Deere dealer, they'll have all the information on these new product lineups or other products that maybe we aren't showing here today, or our johndeere.com. We've got the latest and greatest information on these model year 25 machines out there.
Let's get started.
All right, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Excited to dive in. And we're going to start with that 9RX tractor series. Had a chance to visit earlier with Michael Porter.
Yeah, so right behind us is our new high horsepower 9RX lineup. This one specifically is the new 9RX 830. We also have two other models in the lineup, which would be the 9RX 710 as well as the 770. And these are ground up, redesigned new high horsepower 4-track machines for us. So new engine, new transmission, new cab, a host of new technology, as well as an updated and redesigned hydraulic system. So all this goes to get more productivity out of this machine than we've ever seen before.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about those upgrades. One at a time, we're going to talk about all of them here. You pick the one you want to start with.
Yeah, we could start right there in the front with the new engine. So that's a new JD18 engine from John Deere. So like I mentioned, this model behind us is rated for 830 horsepower, but it has a peak horsepower of 913. And so with this engine comes a couple great A couple great things as well is we're able to meet our final Tier 4 emission standards using only exhaust gas recirculation. So just EGR, no need for diesel exhaust fluid or diesel particulate filters. So what that means for our customers is, when they're getting started every morning, they're just filling one fluid, which would be the diesel tank, and not have to worry about filling the DEF tank. And that saves our customers, up to 800 gallons per year in DEF usage. And with that 830 horsepower, it allows customers to get more done than we ever had before. In our testing compared to our previous models, we're seeing customers be able to disc 100 more acres per day and also be able to, fully load implements like an air cart and go up the hills that previously maybe they had to shy away from or half fill their carts. So really allows our customers to be highly productive, and it allows them to really get the most out of all the implements that they have on their farm.
Yeah, some of the differences they're going to notice here with the new tractor. You just mentioned some of those here, and they're going to notice those right off the bat.
Yeah, so new track assembly, new cab, a whole host of things. So starting with the track assembly behind us, it's been beefed up and redesigned to handle that 830 horsepower, but also this machine can be fully ballasted up to 84,000 pounds. So with that track assembly, it helps spread out that weight and really put all that power to the ground, and that's all sent through our new transmission, which is E21 transmission. This new E21 allows us to get to speed faster than ever before with things like skip shifts, as well as what we call our full auto mode, which allows customers to just really set the speed and forget it.
Yeah. You talk about seeding and planting. That's another area that is going to be, you're going to feel different here with this new tractor.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with seeding and planting, especially air seeding, takes a huge hydraulic load. And so with this machine, we redesigned our hydraulic system to meet the demand of our customers with their big air seeding trains and large planters. And so with this machine, we're introducing a 56, 112, and 168 gallon per minute pump options on this machine. But what's new about this as well is it has a split hydraulic system. So we have two reservoirs and different pump assemblies. So we have two pumps and one reservoir that run just all of the machine functions like turning, braking, and transmission. And then the optional 56, 112, or 168 gallon pumps are just for the implement. So for those customers that need a lot of hydraulic flow for maybe those big air seeding trains like what's hooked up behind us, they have plenty of flow and aren't going to sacrifice maybe fan speed or seeding rate just because they're turning or braking coming down a hill.
Exactly right. Yeah, and you said sometimes they want to do a little deeper in their soil preparation or a little slower maybe in planting. They don't have to now.
Yeah, exactly. With this, a lot of our customers with maybe tillage practices before don't go as deep as they want to because they're trying to keep their speed up to get across all that ground in a season. Well, now with this, they don't have to sacrifice maybe seeding depth for speed. You can get the depth you want and still maintain the speed you want, and probably even go to a wider implement to maintain and go faster.
Yeah, let's talk about those implements that you pull behind this and how that is going to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. With this machine, there's customers out there that have tillage tools, they have air seeding tools that maybe they haven't been able to get the most performance out of historically, as they've been maybe horsepower limited or hydraulic flow limited. Well, with this machine, that's not going to be a problem anymore. Obviously, with the 830 horsepower, 168 gallons per minute, no matter really what they put behind it, you're going to be able to pull it with this tractor.
Right. And then we say, well, that seems like a lot of operational duties that I may have to do. They don't really have to worry about that.
No, and it gets even easier. So with this new tractor comes a lot of new technology as well. And so one of those things that we're really happy with is the new Autonomy Ready package. And so Autonomy Ready with this tractor means that it's going to have all the technology embedded in it for a fully autonomous tractor of the future. And all the customer needs to do is add a perception system or a vision system whenever they decide to make that switch. So they can buy the tractor and run it just like normal, and if they decide autonomy is for them, then they can easily add that perception system to the machine and become a fully autonomous tractor.
Yeah. I don't want to go much further without acknowledging that farmer out there has been a big part of the upgrades you're talking about here, and all the other folks here on our program tonight. That farmer rancher has been a big part of these upgrades.
Yeah, absolutely. We work with customers every day, and we talk to them and say, what are the challenges that they're facing, and what can we do with this machine when we're designing it to make it easier on them. And so one of the major things we heard about was daily maintenance. How do we get going every day faster than we have before? And so with this machine, we made sure that all of our daily maintenance checks could be done right from the ground quickly and easily. So when you go on that side before you get into the cab, you'll notice that the fuel fill could be done from ground level. that the air filter could be blown out right from ground level, and you can check all of your hydraulic levels before ever getting into that cab of the machine.
A lot different when I was on the farm, I'll tell you that. Well, one thing, but that's good. And you mentioned that cab, and I'm sure a lot of viewers out there saying, Mark, when are you going to ask Michael about that new cab? Because they spent a lot of hours in there.
Yep, exactly right. It is a new cab. So this is a new Command View 4 Plus cab. And so a lot of new updates with it. First, before you even get into the cab, the staircase has been redesigned to make it easier to get in and out of. But then once you get into that cab, they're going to notice a lot more space. So 15% more floor space and 20% more right side visibility. So what that means is that glass on the right-hand side has been expanded so that customers can see these big implements behind them and see what's going on around the machine. But it doesn't stop there, because obviously comfort is a huge part of it. And so we've listened to customers who said, if I'm going to spend 10, 12 all day in this machine, I need to be comfortable and I need it to ride even better. So we also are introducing a new cab suspension system with this. And so with this comes 4 shocks, 1 on each corner, and what we call 3 degrees of freedom. So be able to front to back, side to side, and up to down suspension. So that way, no matter really what terrain and what speed they're going, that they're going to have the best ride quality that we've ever had in a 9 Series.
Someday you'll have RFD-TV in that cab, right?
There we go, there we go, hopefully so.
Very good. You know, what about maintenance? You know, we're going to make sure this tractor, you've touched on that a little bit, Michael. I want to go a little bit more in depth about the maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and one of the things we heard from customers is, make it easy. You know, so that way, the easier something is like that with daily maintenance, the more likely it is to get done. So instead of having customers have to climb up into the cab or around the backside of the glass to get to the fuel tank or to get to the DEF, things like that, they don't have to do that anymore. And one of those ways we talked about earlier is just removing some of those fluids like the diesel exhaust fluid, but then making sure that if they have easy access to these things like those hydraulic fluid levels, that they're more likely to get them checked. So what we did is we worked with those customers to figure out what would be the easiest way to lay all that out, and then we tried to make it as close to what they asked for as we could.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, I'm sure they whet the appetite big time here tonight, Michael. When will these be available? They're available the first time to see here at Commodity Classic, but what about that dealer?
Yeah, absolutely. So dealers could start ordering these later this month, and then they'll be hitting the dealer lots at the end of 2024.
What's been the reaction from folks coming by here, seeing it for the first time?
A lot of excitement around this tractor. I think a lot of people have been dying to see it. Maybe they've heard about it or whispers about it, and then now that they finally get to see it on the lot, it's been really busy and the feedback has been really good. We've had a lot of great success with our 9RX lineup, and this just builds on that, and people are really excited to see it in the field. We
talked about that dealer several times here during this visit here, Michael, and we can't end without acknowledging how important that dealer is. You mentioned before coming on tonight that you spent a lot of time in educational around the country, literally, with these dealers.
Yeah, absolutely. And the dealers are, the first line for all of our customers, right? They support them day in and day out. So, if you have interest in this tractor, first stop should be that John Deere dealer, because they're going to be the one with all the information on it, as well as the one supporting those customers moving forward. All
right, I'm going to ask you one last question here. All the things we talked about, what excites you most about this? I'll give you about 10 seconds to think about that, or 5 seconds, but what excites you the most, Michael?
Yeah, I'd say it's the horsepower, but also how nimble this tractor is. So it's big. We've seen that. You can see it behind us. It has a lot of power, but it still drives like a smaller tractor, and it gets a lot done. I mean, 100 more acres per day disking could save 1,000 passes per year on tillage by going to wider implements, and we're fully loading air carts and going into the hills. So that's what really excites me, is it's just the all-around package.
Let's get this planting season underway then, huh?
Yep. Nope. Looking forward to it.
Wow, great to talk to Michael, Jenny, and what an awesome piece of equipment. I know you talk about being excited in our open there. There's a good reason why.
Absolutely. Those new high horsepower 9RX, 710, 770, and 830 here that Michael just talked about. Customers are super excited to get in that cab and see all of the things and talk to our product experts about it. So.
Very good. Well, we're just getting a good start here. Jenny batting with me here at John Deere at Commodity Classic. And we talked about that S-Series, 9X Era Series tractor, the 9RX, to get it right here. We're trying to take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to be continuing with that C-Series air cart and the Hagie STS sprayers. Just getting a good start here. This is Rural America Live on Rural America's most important network. Be right back. Welcome back to our friends with John Deere and our special Rural America Live here, coming to you from Commodity Classic. Wow, what a tractor we just saw with Michael. And we are now moving over to the C-Series air carts. Anthony Straczynski with us. Anthony, I want to start by, I guess, tying the two together here. And the tractor we just talked about and all the power that it's going to need to pull this C-Series air cart.
Yeah, air seating's known for taking a lot of power, a lot of hydraulics, and the weight of these carts in the hills. So the 9RX, or the new high horsepower 9RX, and this are going to be a great pair together. You know, when you think of that air cart and the weight going through the hills, you need that power to pull it up the hills, and that hydraulic flow that thing can provide to run these blowers. It's going to be a really great pair.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about, just getting in depth here. We talk about all night long here, getting in depth in all these new pieces. Let's do that here with the air cart.
Yeah, so the new C-Series, right?
Yeah.
Completely new, completely redesigned. It's one of those things that it's been on the blocks for a while. We needed to update that 1910. So as you'll see, it's a completely new naming and numbering. So we got rid of the 1910, and now we have the new C-Series. So that C-Series, we had the 650 and the 850 out there in the past. Now 350 bushel all the way up to that 850 bushel in a trailing configuration. So that 1910, you used to think of that tow behind. That is now what we call trailing, and then in a leading cart, we can go 350 bushels all the way up to 650 bushels. So completely redesigned, bringing that technology throughout our entire lineup.
And I might refer to this several times during our conversation, and I mentioned this with Michael as well, that these upgrades that we're talking about during this hour, a lot of it comes from the input from your producer out there.
Yeah, so our producers with the C650 and 850 that we've had in the past really grew to like the tank scales that we had, but they let us know that we needed stainless steel meters. So with this new cart, we're bringing stainless steel meters, we're bringing tank scales across our entire lineup, and an easier way to calibrate. So everybody knows that those bag calibrations take a ton of time, especially when you're trying to get up and going in that critical seating window. So that Easy Cal system that we're bringing, industry exclusive, it's a game changer for them.
Absolutely right. And I don't know, we want to make sure we mention this is the first time that producers were able to see it at Commodity Classic.
It is. It's the first time anybody's getting a look at it. We've been super busy with people coming by, mainly to check out like the new meters, right? Stainless steel. It's got a different look to it. It's not painted. They used a higher grade stainless steel so that we couldn't paint it instead of a lower grade that we could.
Yeah.
So it's a different looking meter, but really there's a ton more to it from a producer standpoint. So that meter is electronically controlled now. So we have up to eight individually electrically controlled meters that are really going to unlock high resolution prescriptions, curve compensation, and section command pro for our customers. So when you think of that high resolution prescription, typically a customer would need to set their prescription zone at the width of a tool. Now you're able to set that at a primary level, allowing you to be up to 8 times more precise with your prescription. Mm-hmm. And then when you think of that curve compensation, as that tool's going around the corner, we have the ability to change that rate or change the speed of that meter from the inside to the outside, ensuring that rate remains consistent across that entire tool. And then when you think Section Command Pro, we used to use gates, so that meter was always spinning. But when you use a gate, you can potentially get seed damage in there as that seed grinds against the gate. Now that we can stop those meters, we eliminate that potential, and then we also eliminate the potential for that seed to dump out when that gate opens up.
Wow. Great information here. As you were talking about this, I'm thinking about, Anthony, what about ease of operation? The viewer might say, wow, this sounds like a lot for me to take care of, but it isn't.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And you brought up ease, right? So another option or another thing that we brought, or another feature we brought, is really tank scales. Tank scales really offer that operator that ease of use, knowing how many acres they have left until they are empty, so they can continue running throughout the day, ensuring their tendering practices match when they're going to be out of seed. Allows them to actually use active cal from the cab. So ensuring that meter displacement value stays up to date throughout the day as those conditions change.
What about capabilities? Maybe a little bit more in depth about the capabilities. You've touched on several of those.
Yeah, so the air cart or air cart that we have really hits that small grain market. So if you're talking wheat, canola, we've got people using edible beans, normal beans. Like it's going to change the game.
And it doesn't matter where in the country. That's another great point to make.
Yeah.
That anywhere in the country, this is going to be an upgrade for most any producer.
It for surely will be, right? So when you think of air carts, you think of Oklahoma, Texas, up through the plains of Kansas, for a smaller size cart, and then you start heading out west and in the Western Canada, that's really where those bigger carts are going to come into play.
And so from here, the things they're going to notice, the ease of operation, and I think, what are some of the things I guess I'm going to ask you that you're most excited about with the new C Series?
Yeah, so the one piece I didn't touch on, Easy Cal. So if you've done a bag cal before, right? You get your bag out, you crawl under the cart, you fill it up with seed, you get your fish scale out, you weigh that bag, figure out what the meter displacement value is, right? With Easy Cal, it's as easy as pushing a button and letting it do it for you, and you walk away and continue getting ready for the day. So that's one of those things between that, the tank scales, the new stainless steel meters, that is the stuff that we're super excited about.
Yeah, I can tell folks watching and viewing, they're kind of shaking their heads. Yeah, I know what he's talking about with the fish scale and getting underneath there, but not anymore.
Nope, not anymore. We're making it easy. We're saying hit the easy button with Easy Cal.
What about hopefully we've piqued appetites here for these folks, and they're wondering about, well, when is this available?
Yeah, so available now. Really, the ordering for it is going to open very shortly. So it's one of those things. If you're interested, go visit your John Deere dealer.
Yeah, and let's talk about that dealer. You talk about how important things are and the whole progression on these upgrades. That dealer is an important part of that spoke in the wheel.
They definitely are. I mean, our dealer network is our backbone, right? We can't do what we do without them, and we're just happy to have them out there supporting our customers.
Exactly right. So let's go over again some of the folks that maybe joined us during the conversation here, Anthony, and some of the benefits and upgrades here with the C Series.
Yeah, so when you think about it, the increased prescription rates, being able to run up to 8 times more accurate prescriptions across all the acres you do, that ability to use curve compensation now, so as you're going through corners, ensuring that rate remains consistent across the tool, and then Section Command Pro, so eliminating that potential seed damage, dumping while you're using Section Command still. That ability to know how many acres you have left until you're empty with tank scales.
Yeah.
And Active Cal, so the ability to calibrate as you're going throughout the day as those conditions change. So there's a ton of new technology with these carts that customers are super excited about.
I'll bet. And before we leave, they may be asking, I'm going to make sure the equipment I have now has the power to pull this. I don't maybe not have the new tractor, but the ones that I have. Anthony, what about that?
Yeah. So obviously we've got this one hooked to the high horsepower 9RX, but that tractor wasn't always out there. So we've had customers that have been using existing tractors pulling these for years. So what you have now will work. There's nothing that would require the amount of horsepower we have in front of this one, but this is a good option when you need more power.
Very good. Boy, great visit. There's a lot more we could learn, and I guess if anybody wants to learn more, that dealer is out there for them.
That dealer's out there, or visit us, johndeere.com. We've got that ability to view all the different options that we have available with these new air carts.
Thanks for your time, Anthony.
Thank you.
Looking forward to a great. I'm sure you are ready for the new season as well.
We are ready for seeding season.
Let's get out there. Well, you talk about seeding, and then moving on to our sprayers with our Hagee sprayers, and I had a chance to visit with Tim Diner about that.
So behind me we have a brand new Hagie STS-16 sprayer with See & Spray Premium. So See & Spray Premium and See & Spray technology has been out for a while, but we bring it to the Hagie sprayer. And the great thing about a Hagie sprayer that people really love is, one, the high crop clearance, so you can do late season fungicide in your corn, split apply nitrogen. It also has all-wheel steer, 2,000 gallon capacity, a front mounted boom that if you're really looking to maximize your visibility, or that's just what you prefer, you can get that in a Hagie sprayer. So bringing that Hagie bloodline, but the John Deere technology to that sprayer.
You and I talked about that before coming on the air tonight. The technology has always been there, good quality in the Hagie equipment, but through the years, you've added the John Deere touch to it in a big way.
Yeah, if you step into that Hagie cab today, it's the exact same cab as our X9 combine. So the look, the feel of all of that integrated technology you expect from buying a John Deere piece of product, you'll get that with the Hagie sprayer. When you step in that cab, you know this is a John Deere product.
There you go. Let's talk more about, we talk about getting in depth on all these great products you're releasing in 2025, but See & Spray technology, Tim.
Yeah, so if you've been on this journey with us, you maybe have heard it before. See & Spray, we've had it out for a few years. And what See & Spray is the ability to go into the crop and look at the difference between crop and weed and spray just the weed. So that is a huge thing. That is the next step, because some growers, are not looking to get bigger, wider, faster. They're looking about smarter about every acre. And how can I get to a cleaner field, better yields? They can do that with this Hagie sprayer using See & Spray Premium that comes from the factory.
Yeah, I remember when it wasn't introduced before that, but I was out at the CES, the commodity show, or the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. John Deere was out there, the only agricultural company across the entire convention center, and it was a lot of attention there, and you've only improved on that.
Yeah, we might have stood out. We were a little bit different, but it was technology with a purpose that we had there, because we were impacting farmers, we were impacting how we grow food for the world, and so we showed how we were doing things that's just advanced as anybody else. When you look at See & Spray, it's a computer vision machine learning technology using AI power-based technology to run that, and so it's a technology just like you think about autonomous vehicles or autonomous tractors. It's going to get better, it's going to keep growing, but it's really got a purpose to it. When we talk about 50% savings in herbicide for a grower, or just being smarter about what they put on, when they apply, so that we're more sustainable, we don't have runoff, we cut back on that weed resistance problem that we're seeing all across the world. And so it really is a great technology that you heard about it a few years ago. If you come back next year, you're going to hear about it. We can talk about it again, and it'll be more and more to it, and it's a really fun technology to talk about.
It really is revolutionary, and you just keep building on that, and the impact on agriculture and the bottom line for producers is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's going to get smarter over time. It gets better over time, because really how it all works is there's these 36 cameras mounted across the boom. They're scanning down in there, looking into the crop, and tell the difference between crop and weed, taking those pictures, 2,100 square feet a second, telling the brains of the sprayer what to do, what's happening, and then spraying, all going 12 miles per hour. So it will change the application world. It already has, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, exactly right. Just talk more and get in depth about the cost savings. You've kind of touched on that here, Tim.
Yeah, so you can see savings of up to 50% when you go into that post-emergent application. So that's really big when you think about input costs that are all over the place and hard to manage for a grower, that you can really cut back, see that 50% savings, but also you can look at applying something different. Maybe you approach the season differently because you're only putting what you need, where you need it, and saving money all at the same time. So real impact.
Put together the See & Spray and Exact Apply. Let's talk about those two together and how that just makes it even more of an impact.
Yeah, exactly. So Exact Apply we've had out for 7 years, and that kind of builds on that. See & Spray uses Exact Apply, which is row by row, nozzle by nozzle control, so that you can control what you put on, where you need it, so that you can cut back on your costs, control your rate, so whether you're going 10 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, and it just keeps building. So we keep building on that technology like Exact Apply. Then you bring See & Spray, and then you can start talking about autonomy in the future, and it's all powered with that artificial intelligence that we were just talking about, that it keeps building on itself into the future to be smarter about every acre, and not necessarily bigger, faster, wider. We're going to be smarter, and we're getting down to plant by plant, which is crazy to say to sometimes some people. We're literally looking at every single plant. So you think about going 12 miles per hour, 2,100 square feet a second. That's a lot of plants at one time, and that's what we're doing in today's agricultural world.
Yeah, and this is the first time, by the way, that producers have been able to see that as it sits here today, as have been with the combine, the tractor that we're talking about here tonight. And what's the reaction from folks coming by here?
They're really excited, yeah. So seeing on a Hagie sprayer is brand new, but they've been coming on the See and Spray journey, and they've been asking for this. Hey, I really want this on a Hagie sprayer so that I can enter the field any day, cut back on my costs, and get cleaner fields, better yields. So they're really excited. They've had a lot of questions. They've been walking up the steps to look at it closer, but they're ready for this, and they're ready to put it in their fields today.
What about ease of operation? This does a lot, and you've gone through a lot of different things that this thing will do to save money and bottom line, but there's still an ease of operation with all your pieces of equipment.
Well, it's essentially a click of a button, just like you use auto track and auto steer today, where you click the button and it controls itself. When you go into a field, you say, I'm in a soybean field, you just tell the system that, and then after that, it takes care of itself. And so it's doing it all on its own, it's managing it, it's a co-pilot with you. That's essentially, you've got 36 extra eyes out there seeing what's happening, 6 extra brains with the vision processing units, and that's just going through there and take care of itself.
Yeah, I like that, a co-pilot, that's well said. Precision ag, you've kind of touched on this too, Tim, but I want to go back and talk about the precision ag and how that works into the Hagie sprayer.
Yeah, so for 2025, we bring new precision ag because all of this is great, but we have to have the guts behind it to manage all that. So we bring a G5 Plus display, which has more processing power, has a new next-gen interface to manage all that, and then also an integrated Starfire receiver. So that all connects to your operations center. If a grower's using that today, that's their report card, that's their home base. They go into the office in the off-season, they look at how they did, overlay that data layer maps between their planting, their spraying, their harvest. They can be smarter because, again, we're about being smarter about every plant.
Absolutely. And then let's just dive into that here. We talk about the documentation and all the data that this is producing and all the equipment as well, and how that works into the STS.
Yeah, so the data is really important about being smarter about every year. So when you have your off season of looking back, what did I apply, when did I apply, overlaying that with harvest maps. So the operations center is really going to be that report card to see how did I do, and then what can I do differently in the year. So and those decisions aren't made on the fly when you're in the field. Those are made in the off season, looking at different chemicals, different seed, whatever it might be. And so that data is really important, and as you start to build up that library of data year over year, you can start to make more informed decisions about what's happening in your field and how can it be smarter and more profitable every year.
I like that. And maybe a little more in depth about how producers can, in fact, use that data year after year to their advantage.
Yeah, so if you have the operations center, whether you're using the John Deere technology and you're planting, seeding, applying, it all streams up to the operations center seamlessly through JD Link and connects that. You can check it from your phone, your iPad, the computer at home, or just in the actual sprayer itself. So it's really great that maybe you're having problems. You can phone a friend and say, hey, can you come check out what's happening? He doesn't have to drive out there. He can just pull up his phone, make some adjustments, see some things, help you out, and that's all happening real time, real data with real purpose for them.
If you're 10, 15, 20 miles, and some places in that wheat belt, you're further than that away from anywhere you can get a repair, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's crazy, but sometimes the most valuable a farmer can be is at a home office possibly, or maybe it's in their pickup 20 miles away looking at their phone, pulling up the iPad because their brother, their son, their daughter, whoever else is running it, and they just need an extra help, that extra hand of, hey, I don't know if this looks right, I need some extra help. They can just pull up the monitor, they can remote display into it, they can see the data, and they can make real decisions on the fly, and so they can get more done, and it's a lot less stress. Yeah. You can go to bed at night knowing exactly what happened, not have to wonder or wait a few days to see what actually got sprayed out there. So it makes the life of the farmer a lot easier, and they can get a lot more done.
You know, don't want to gloss over the fact that you have the years and years of data now. You can go back to the same 150, 200 acre field and see what you've done the last 2 or 3 years with different crops. And that makes a difference in your planning.
Absolutely. I've sat in the offices of some farmers in the wintertime up in Canada where they looked at their combine, their yield map, and they saw just how differences of maybe they missed a day or two in combine, and then they had some bad rain or some wind or whatever, and you can see that year over year, or you start to maybe identify all the way down to certain parts of the field of I'm struggling with this part of the field, I need more fertilizer, or I just maybe shouldn't invest as much. And so you start to build that library up. You got more books to reference, you got more years to reference, and you can be smarter. And so it's really awesome, really powerful when you can pull up, hey, what happened in 2015 when we were dry, and it's this year it's dry again. Okay, let's look at maybe we pull back on how much we spend on fertilizer because we know we won't get the yield. So you're just pulling more of that library out to look at past years, and now if you just keep recording that data, you can be smarter. That 10 years from now, you can look at 15 years of data from this field of what should I be spending, what should be my goals for bushels, whatever it might be. You can be smarter about it.
My dad used to put all that kind of information in the back of an envelope, so you know how that's changed. I'm sure we've piqued the appetite here. We enjoyed the conversation, Tim. Where can our viewers learn more and maybe get online to get one of these next year?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see all the information we just talked about at Deere.com, but also a great resource is your local John Deere dealer, because they're armed and ready to show you all this awesome technology.
Hope you're taking careful notes. Lots of information here from our friends at John Deere. We're not done yet. We'll take another break and come back. It's all about combine. Stay with us. Rural America Live continues from Commodity Classic. Welcome back to Rural America Live. I'm Mark Oppold. Again, hope you're taking careful notes. A lot of great information here as these upgrades from John Deere, the 9RX tractor, the C-Series air carts, the Hagie STS sprayers we just talked about. Well, it's all about combines here, and we're going to be visiting with Bergen Nelson, who has all the information about the upgrades.
Behind us is the new S7 900, and we're also launching 3 additional models, the S7 600, S7 700, and the S7 800. And these machines are bringing increased productivity, increased efficiency, and new operator comfort to our combine operators. We brought a lot of features over to this new machine. When we designed it, we looked to its big brother X9, and a lot of our customers have told us that they want some of those features on this new S7. So we're bringing new engines, new grain handling systems, new grain loss sensing, new residue package, and a new cab.
Wow. And we're going to go in depth on all those here before this visit is over. But I want to say that a lot of those things you just talked about come from the producer who's using these combines and have John Deere for years and years.
That's right, yeah. We look to our customers to gather feedback all the time, and they told us on the new S7 that they want to see improved fluid efficiency, and that means less fuel consumption, because that truly does impact their bottom line. They wanted increased automation to help reduce operator fatigue. They wanted a new cab to increase their comfort and their visibility, because they do spend long hours in that cab throughout the harvest season. So yeah, we definitely have looked to our customers to understand how we can meet their needs and bring new improvements to the S7 to increase their efficiency and productivity in the field.
And that continues on, always has been. I've always admired that about John Deere and listening to their customers. Let's start with that engine. I guess you have to start with the power.
Yeah, so on the S7 600 and the S7 700, we're bringing a new Gen 2 9-liter engine to the lineup. On the S7 700, it's going to bring a 10 horsepower bump, so those folks are really going to enjoy that. And then on the S7 800 and the S7 900, we're bringing over the 13.6 liter that our customers have grown to know, and that's coming from our X9 combine. But those engines are bringing improved fuel efficiency, directly impacting the customer's bottom line. We're also bringing a new after-treatment system that's also going to help our producers.
Yeah. That engine is going to be a lot more efficient, it sounds like.
It's definitely going to be a lot more efficient. Like I mentioned, we're going to see up to a 10% reduction or improvement in our customers' fluid efficiency.
Yeah. What about the grain handling and the maintenance, and we get that part, the processing part of the combine?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that part. So as we talk about our grain handling system, we're bringing over cross auger shutoffs. So when the grain tank empties out, those augers are going to stop in the grain tank, allowing the unloading auger to completely empty out, reducing the amount of weight in that we're carrying around the field. And our customers have been asking for us to bring that to the new S7 for a long time. So we're happy to have that here. We're also bringing the adjustable unloading auger spout to this machine, and so they can control that spout from within the cab, making sure those hard-earned bushels get in the grain cart.
Yeah, yeah. And I imagine it doesn't take long to empty that grain cart out, the storage cart.
That's right. Yeah, and another thing we're excited about too, as far as grain loss, is we're bringing a new grain loss sensing system to the S7 combine, and that's going to be 3 times more accurate than the previous model. And with the new grain loss sensing system, the operators are going to be able to monitor that right on the G5 Plus display within the cab, so they can monitor all the activities going on throughout harvest, making sure they're keeping their machine optimized, running at peak performance.
Sounds like there's a lot to take care of here during harvest time, Bergen, but it's ease of operation. We want to touch on that as well.
Sure, yeah. With the new S7 combine, we're bringing a new cab to this machine that allows our operators to have increased comfort and visibility. We're bringing more cup holders, more heat to the feet, and better operating experience for them.
Yeah, let's get in depth on that cab. They spent a lot of hours in there.
Yeah, so like I was mentioning, we're bringing those cup holders, the increased heat to the feet, better visibility, and and better comfort. But on top of that, we're bringing more technology to the cab. On these machines, they're going to have the G5 Plus display, an integrated 7500 receiver, a JD Link modem that allows our customers to take their yield data and stream it to the operations center. So on all those long hours they spend in the cab, they're really going to enjoy the new cab that we're bringing to the S7 lineup.
And I heard earlier that the visibility has been improved in the tractor and also in the combine.
That's right, yeah. On the new cab, our customers are definitely going to have increased visibility and increased comfort to help them get through those long days in the field.
Yeah, and there are long hours in there and a lot of ease of operation, and all the mechanisms are well within arm's reach, and they're not having to reach across left or right.
That's right, yep. We are excited to get that out there, and we're also bringing new technology to this machine that I'm excited to talk about.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned also, let's get to the other end of the combine. We'll walk around, we're walk around the back and the residue, which is also important to that producer.
Yeah, we're bringing a new residue system because at Deere, we know that the tillage season starts at harvest. We got to make sure that our residue is spread evenly across the width of the header that the customer has on the front of the machine. So on the new S7 Combine, we're bringing a premium PowerCast tailboard that is a mechanical driven tailboard and also features straight blade knives, reducing the amount of power it takes to run that tailboard. And so with that new tailboard, our customers will be able to finely cut their material and spread it up to 45 feet and do a really nice job compared to what we've had in the past. And that's reducing the power that it takes to run that mechanical tailboard, also contributing to improved efficiency for our customers, reducing the amount of fuel that they will burn during the harvest day.
This is available in model year in 2025, but it's been tested, and so you have data that shows how they can improve, and their residue will be improved.
That's right, yeah. These models have been out. We've been researching and developing the new S7 Combine for a couple of years. We're happy to have it here at Commodity Classic and introduce some of these new features, including that premium PowerCast tailboard, and tell our customers all about the new features that they're going to get to experience later in 25.
Yeah. What's been the reaction when this is the first time it's been available to see? You've got a lot of folks traveling through here. What are you hearing from them?
Yeah, folks have been super excited about the new S7 Combine. They've been asking for a lot of these features that are on our X9 machine, but our customers wanted those on the S7 Combine. So they are thrilled to see the grain handling improvements, the improvement to grain loss sensing, the improvement to the PowerCast tailboard, bringing new engines to bring improved efficiency to their operation. So we're really excited. The customers are excited here at Commodity Classic in Houston, and we're also super excited to talk about new automation features on this combine.
Yeah, we'll talk about automation, but precision agriculture, that's kind of a key phrase that's been bounced around for several years. Let's talk about that as it relates to the new combine, Bergen.
We can do that, yeah. So on the new cab, it has the G5 Plus display and the integrated 7500 receiver, and within that, it's allowing our customers to have all kinds of automation during the harvest season, including auto track turn automation where the combine automatically turns around on the headlands. We allow them to stream their data from the display to our operations center. We're bringing in AutoPath, all kinds of features that are packed inside that cab on the G5 display using the integrated technology on our John Deere solutions.
Yeah, you mentioned that in automation along with precision, and you touched on that a little bit more in depth about the automation upgrades.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most exciting things here that we have on the new S7 is our new harvest automation systems. One of them being predictive ground speed automation, where we're using stereo cameras on the front of the cab, and those are looking out 28 feet in front of the cutter bar, measuring crop height and crop density. And then we're also using a predictive yield map from satellite imagery. We're comparing those two layers together, and with that, we can proactively speed up and slow down the combine to make sure that that rotor, that machine is staying full consistently throughout the day, improving productivity for our customers. So we're super excited to have that out there. I tell folks it's kind of like adaptive cruise control within your vehicle. It's proactively sensing what's in front of you so we can react quicker and make sure we are staying efficient throughout the day.
Yeah, I want to go back to that. So you have front cameras on the front that are looking out, you said 28 feet?
28 feet in front of the cutter bar, measuring crop height and crop density, allowing us to be more proactive in how we automatically adjust the speed of the combine to maximize throughput.
All done automatically?
All done automatically, that's right.
What kind of a speed farmers are used to, certain ones, but what would you suggest or say this one would be?
The speed's going to vary based on the yield that's out there in the field. And so those cameras and that satellite imagery is going to help us proactively adjust the speed automatically to make sure that they are getting the maximum throughput capable of this, for example, the S7 900 combine behind us. And what that is doing or contributing to our customers is improving their productivity up to 20% in the field during harvest.
A lot of reasons why all these options and upgrades are important. Maybe listing one or two that you say are most important here of all these options.
Yeah, so the one, predictive ground speed automation. The second one I would talk about is harvest settings automation, and that's a new technology on the S7 and the X9 combine where it automatically sets the 5 main combine adjustments. Those adjustments are concave clearance, rotor speed, sieve and chaffer, and fan speed, and that's all done, like I said, automatically, and the operator has input on how that happens, and the input is around foreign grain, broken grain, and grain loss, the key outcomes that all of our customers are monitoring during the harvest season.
Exactly right. I'm sure you're ready for the planting season, and then we get to do this with this great new combine.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see these new machines in the field. We have a lot to offer for our customers, bringing improved productivity, improved efficiency, reducing their overall fuel costs. We're very excited about the new S7 combine.
Well, we hope we've piqued a lot of appetites here for this new combine, and someone watching say, boy, I need to get one of those in the 25 year. What's the first step they want to take?
Yeah, I would ask them to contact their local John Deere dealer. They're going to have all the resources, information to help their customers pick out a nice model year 25 S7 combine with all these new features, aim to help the producer.
Bergen, thanks for your time. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Wow, again, a lot of upgrades here. Great combines. You know, that's what it's all about. When you at the end of the season, that's where the payoff is, Jenny. And this has been a great hour. It's gone too fast. I hope our viewers have taken a lot of great notes. A lot of great information here. And you said these are the stars of the show that we talked about, but there's a whole lot more for John Deere.
Absolutely. So I said it earlier, you know, this is one of our largest product launches that we've had in recent years. And so, yes, we talked about our 4 stars of the shows, the S-Series combines, the C-Series air cart, the new high horsepower 9RX, and then, of course, our Hagee sprayers now coming with that See & Spray premium technology. But there's lots of other things in this over an acre booth here at Commodity Classic. So in the center of our booth, we're highlighting our precision ag technology. So our new G5 displays, integrated receivers, JD-Link modems, and how those are really the foundation or the base of this technology. Yeah. Everything's building upon that, and having those kind of 3 common components in the cab will help our customers gather that machine and field information and send that wirelessly to the John Deere Operations Center, where then, you know, at any time, anywhere, they can pull up their phone, look at their Operations Center account, see what those machines are doing, see how the yields are coming through, or they can do it back in their office on their desktop. So having that flexibility to have the pulse of their operation at their fingertips.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then we're also talking about our precision upgrades. So bringing that latest technology that we've been talking about to existing fleets. So, you know, maybe somebody is perfectly happy with the piece of equipment that they have right now. They're not ready to trade, but they want some of this cutting edge technology. Exactly. So we're bringing that to our existing fleets as well. And then we're talking about some of our planter technology. So exact shot, furrow vision are some other things that we're talking about in the booth today.
You know, and you talk about the farmer rancher who comes to Commodity Classic, they're literally coming coast to coast, border to border, and John Deere has equipment, no matter if you're in the wheat belt, corn belt, fruit and vegetables.
Absolutely. We've got a broad portfolio. You know, the stars of the show that we've talked about, those 4 products, you know, those are for not only small grain customers, but corn, soy customers. And you mentioned we've got high value crop. We've got it all here at John Deere. And so, you know, I've mentioned it a couple times about getting that feedback from our customers. It's really important. We want to hear the challenges that they're facing and how can we bring new products and solutions to help them.
I don't want to gloss over that because it's so important. John Deere has always leaned on that farmer rancher out there to lead to these upgrades and talk about how John Deere the process you go through to get that input.
Yeah, so we're getting input from our customers from all over the world.
Sure.
You know, whether it's coming through from our dealer channel, we've got a phenomenal dealer channel out there supporting our customers and our products. You know, we hold different customer events where we're gathering that feedback as well through our field team. So it's coming from all over, and we're gathering that and, you know, analyzing that, and then like we're seeing here today is, you know, it's all coming to life. And some of the things that we've heard, now customers are excited to see them here in person.
Yeah, because you've talked about it, it's coming. You know, maybe a year ago, we were in Orlando and talked about the new series upgrades are coming. Well, here they are, and they're available in the year 25.
That is correct. So a lot of these products are available to go visit with your local dealer and get them ordered, and then we'll be showing up later in the year and into 25.
And we've encouraged our viewers to be taking notes during this hour. I'm sure they have, like I have, pages full of notes here, but where's the best way to get more information about all the products, but especially these 4 stars, I want to call them tonight?
Absolutely. We did cover a lot of content. And so, you know, there's really 2 places to find that information. One is our Deere.com website. We've got the latest information on our new products and our existing products out there. Or I would really highly suggest that customers go talk to their local John Deere dealer. They've got all the information. They can help the customer figure out what options and what models would best fit their farming operation.
You mentioned, and I want to go back to the upgrades. Someone watching say, well, I don't want to, I want the upgrades, but I don't need a new piece of equipment, or don't right now, a new piece of equipment isn't in my plans. But talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have upgrades where we're bringing that latest technology to existing fleets. So for planters, combines, sprayers, and as well as our precision ag. So if somebody, you know, we can meet customers throughout wherever they are in their tech journey. Maybe they're just kind of starting out. So we've got a new kit called the Precision Ag Essentials Kit that gives you that G5 display, receiver, and modem. And that, again, is kind of the foundation to start, you know, collecting that data from the agronomic side as well as the machine data. Then we've got planter upgrades, sprayer upgrades, and combines too.
Exactly right. We have a few minutes here that we have a chance to talk about, and I wanted to do that. The team that's here, I don't know how many you have in this acre of booth here, but it's a team effort all the way around.
Absolutely. It's a team effort from everyone here at Commodity Classic, back at our factories, our John Deere dealers, you know, even the customers. They've had a hand in what we're revealing today. So it's like you said, a big team effort that we're great to be here and talk to everybody.
Excellent. Right, and you know, you mentioned something as well, how the technology has evolved where a farmer rancher can sit in his pickup necessarily and troubleshoot a problem in one of his pieces of equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that JD Link modem in the cab enables customers to really have visibility to their equipment anywhere, whether it's in their truck cab, in their office, or maybe they're at one of their children's ball games. So being able to see what's going on. Also, if you have an operator in the cab that, you know, maybe is getting an error message or can't remember how to set something up, they can remote into that display through our remote display access and see what's on that display and help that operator, you know, get up and going.
Exactly right. And in someone who is maybe not using a lot of green here, we want to encourage them to check out that local dealer and talk about this new season in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming into the planting season here, and I would just encourage everyone to go visit their local John Deere dealer. Like I said, we have products and solutions for everyone. So, like I said, no matter where you are in your tech journey, we've got options, and then, of course, we've talked about a lot of different model options within the products here today.
Very good. Well, we appreciate the time tonight to these 4 great products on the upgrades, Jenny, and hope to keep track and come back and visit. John, by the way, what's next on the pipeline? All the producers want to know, hey, any secrets that Jenny can tell us?
Well, all I can say is we're always listening to our customers. You know, we're always innovating and trying to solve those challenges that they face every day. So look forward to, you know, next year at Commodity, maybe we'll have some exciting news.
See you in Denver.
See you in Denver, Mark.
Jenny, nice to have you tonight.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Thank you very much. Jenny Batty here as we wrap things up here at Commodity Classic. Again, taking careful notes, but check out that local dealer and all the great products here at John Deere. We're going to say goodnight from rural America's most important network.